Today, we're diving into a survival guide for building software, but not for the Googles or the Amazons of the world. Nope, this is for the rest of us. This is about how you build, survive, and actually thrive when you're working with a razor-thin budget, just $10 per user per month.
I mean, this is where so many of us start, right? You get taught in school, you read it in blogs, build for scale, use the best practices, architect for a future where you have 1 million users. It feels professional, it feels responsible.
And right here, this is the core conflict we're going to talk about. What if that whole mindset, that entire responsible approach, is actually a trap? What if trying to build like a tech giant from day one is the very thing that guarantees you never even make it to day 2?
Look, the advice you hear at big tech conferences, it's for a totally different game. They're playing for world domination and infinite scale. You're playing for survival. For a scrappy company that's charging just $10 a month, the only things that matter are, can we stay in the black, and can we ship stuff fast enough to make our customers stick around? That's it.
So this forces us to look at architecture in a completely new light. It's not some abstract technical puzzle, it's a financial decision. And if you get it wrong, it can be the silent killer that drains your bank account.
Your architecture, it isn't a badge of honor to show how serious you are. Every single choice you make, every service you add, it creates a cost structure. It either helps your business make money or it quietly bleeds you dry, one server instance at a time.
And just look at the margins we're dealing with. It's brutal. You get $10 after your basic costs of doing business, maybe you have $7 left. And that $7 has to cover everything else. Salaries, marketing, support. There is literally no room for waste.
Now imagine your super scalable architecture adds what seems like a tiny cost. Just 50 cents a user. 50 cents. It sounds like nothing, but look at what it does to your margin. It just vaporized a huge chunk of your profit, all to solve a problem that you don't even have yet.
Okay, so what's the play here? How do you fight back against all this premature, expensive complexity? Well, the answer, it turns out, is something that's become a little unfashionable, but it's brutally effective. You start with a monolith. Let's just lay out the trade-off. With a monolith, it's simple. You've got one code base, one database. A small team can get their heads around it, they can debug it fast, and most importantly, they can ship value to customers fast. Microservices, at this stage, they force you to pay what the source calls a microservice premium in the form of coordination headaches and slower delivery.
And this is what that premium feels like in the real world. A task that should be easy, like a simple change to the payroll feature, suddenly becomes this huge project that touches 3 different services, requires 3 different deployments. You didn't gain some magical resilience for the future. You just lost speed today. And today is the only day that matters when you're fighting to survive.
And his whole philosophy of ruthless simplicity, it goes beyond just your code. It applies to your infrastructure too. This isn't about chasing the hot new thing you saw on Twitter. It's about managing risk. And in this world, boring is beautiful.
So, before you decide to adopt some shiny new piece of tech, you have to ask your team these 3 brutally honest questions. Number 1, if this thing breaks at 2 in the morning, can we, the people on this team right now, actually fix it? 2, if we lose a few customers next month, can we still afford the bill? And 3, do we truly understand how this thing works? Because boring tech that you understand is always safer than clever tech that you don't.
Now, don't get me wrong, managed cloud services are incredible for getting started fast, but that convenience, it comes with a price. Think of it like a hidden tax, the cloud convenience tax. It's that slow, creeping cost of usage-based billing and data fees that starts out small but can quietly grow into a monster that eats your budget.
So when's the right time to rethink things? Well, here is a fantastic, simple rule of thumb. Keep using those convenient managed services until your cloud bill becomes one of your top 3 biggest expenses. The moment it hits that list, you know it's significant enough that it's probably time to start thinking about bringing some of that stuff in-house to claw back your margins.
All right, let's get even more specific. The source material points out a couple of modern tech patterns that are just incredibly dangerous for a business trying to make it on a tight budget. Let's call them high-cost traps to avoid.
This one's a real truth bomb. The actual cost of microservices isn't just about code. It's the massive operational headache of managing all those separate databases, trying to keep data consistent, and building reports. If you can't afford that operational price tag, and it is steep, then you simply cannot afford microservices, period.
And now, let's talk about the topic on literally everyone's mind, AI. The hype is off the charts. But you know what else is off the charts?
the cost. We have to stop thinking of AI as just another cool feature. For a business like this, it is an active and potentially massive cost center.
So let's just do the math real quick. Here's what you get from your customer: a single $10 bill every month. That's your entire revenue for that person.
But if that same customer gets really into your fancy AI feature, you could easily be spending $36 a month just on API calls to power it for them. You're not just losing a little money. You've accidentally built what the source calls a loss engine.
So, when you boil all this down, what's the big takeaway? It all comes down to one thing: choosing survival over vanity. It's about focusing on what actually keeps the lights on, and learning to ignore the stuff that just looks good in a PowerPoint slide.
That means you focus like a laser on the metrics on the left. How fast are we shipping value? Are we keeping our customers? Are we profitable? And you learn to completely ignore the tech vanity metrics on the right, like how many microservices you have, or your theoretical queries per second. Those things don't pay the bills.
And this says it all, doesn't it? If there is just one thing you remember from all of this, let it be this: your job is to serve your customers, because they are the only ones who pay the bills. The most beautiful, elegant architecture in the world means absolutely nothing if the company runs out of cash.
Let's end on this perfect analogy. Trying to build for Google scale on day one is like buying a Formula One car to deliver pizzas in your neighborhood. You're paying an insane premium for speed you can't even use on city streets, the maintenance requires a pit crew you can't afford, and you will absolutely go bankrupt before you deliver your 100th pizza. Sometimes, a simple, reliable sedan is exactly what you need to win the race.